Bledsoe.
Here.
Marshall.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
Goldar.
Here.
Rupp.
Here.
Williams. O'Shea.
Here.
Wortham.
Here.
Item number 1 is the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second. We have
Coffee.
Yes.
Bledsoe.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Goldar.
Yes.
Rupp.
Yes.
O'Shea. I know how to speak English.
Yes.
And Wortham.
Yes.
Okay. Do we have any comments from those assembled? Seeing none, we will have the presentation of oral quarterly report on Perry Carnegie Library usage and statistics to include the Children's Librarian and Library Director presented by Pam Frick, Head Librarian.
Hello.
Hi, Pam.
Hi. So Hoopla is live. So if you have a library card that isn't blocked because of overdues and isn't expired, you can download the Hoopla app. It's wonderful. I've checked out a couple of books already. So the last week of the month, they give extra checkout from selected titles because it's 5 checkouts a month. So if you need help, stop by the library. It's actually very easy. I set it up for myself in about 2 minutes. So check out your physical items from the library first. Many times there'll be a really long list on waiting on Libby, and it'll be sitting on our shelves. And so then try to hit up Libby because you can have unlimited checkouts on Libby, but a lot of times there's a long waiting list. And then I would go the final choice for Hoopla since you get 5 checkouts a month. So we have a program coming up October 28th. That's Tidy Up with Kate Engelbrecht. We already had the first one, and I guess it was wonderful. And they give lists, and she has very practical advice. So we have an adult craft scarecrow flower pot. It's $14 for the supplies. 8-inch flower pot. If you have a kid 14 and up, you can bring them. So no littles, please. We have plenty of programs for the littles. So Santa will be at the library. We don't have a date yet. So the north windows were repaired. Ronnie Wilson replaced the rotten lumber. He paid for a lift rental and Ronnie's labor, and donations to the Progress Club paid for that. I think I forgot something. Oh, the Harry Potter activity. That's for adults age 14 and up. Once again, we've had so many Harry Potter events for the littles and for the teens that a lot of the adults have said, we would like a Harry Potter event. So adults are welcome to bring age 14 and up the Harry Potter event. Do you have any questions?
Thank you. Item 6, approve the following policy amendments for the Perry Carnegie Library. Do you have to do these separately or?
Yeah.
A, fines and fees. Do you want me to go ahead and read them all or do them each?
What we're really asking is just to leave them as they are for now, because Nate has talked about in the future making the master document with all the fines and fees for the city. So what I'm saying is, whenever it's time, this gives us the authority to pull them out of the library policies and move them to the city. And I asked Mr. Bryce about this one. So we would address any changes then.
So we're not making any changes?
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to approve this policy, which says that they will be removed from the library policy at the time that we created fine and fee schedule.
Gotcha.
So move.
Well, are we
Sorry.
approving the general use, the computer part too, or are we?
No, that'll be the second
We're
item.
gonna-
Okay,
Yeah.
just making sure. So,
So we have a motion. for the fines.
Second.
And a second.
I was gonna say, but I didn't know if somebody did. Okay, Coffee,
Yes.
Bledsoe.
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Davis. Yes. Goldar.
Yes.
Rupp,
Yes.
O'Shea.
Yes.
Wortham.
Yes.
Okay. Part B, computers, internet, and Wi-Fi policies. Have any changes to those, or is that you?
I had a couple questions.
Okay.
On, I guess it'd be the third bullet, using another patron's library card may result in the revocation of computer privileges for both the card holder. I didn't know, are we trying to protect the card holder in case of?
So if Christy has a blocked card, Christy can't come in with Bryce's library card number and log onto the computer.
Sure, and I get that. Why do we have may instead of will?
We can change that to will.
Okay. And I was just on the webpage, well, I think it's the very next bullet.
Okay.
It says our webpage, we'd change libraries to our webpage. Can we put a link or something there just to?
Whenever they to log on the library's computer, automatically our policy pops up and they have to agree to accept it.
Okay.
And the library policies are all on the library's webpage.
We talked about earbuds and headphones,
Yeah.
and I didn't know if we should add while operating a device with audio or something to the effect. And do we need to clarify that those need to be furnished by the user?
We do actually have headphones that we check out.
Okay. That's what I was wondering. And then my final question.
But you want to add using an audio or
Yeah,
a video
or-
device.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Okay.
Seemed odd the way it was written.
yeah.
And then the final there is under the failure to comply with this policy may result in revocation of library or computer privileges. Do we have a system in place if the computer privileges are revoked but the library privileges still remain? Do we have a system that you can identify
Yes.
that?
We would, assuming almost all the patrons have library cards to use the computers, because that's a requirement. You know, if they're passing through town, we don't make them get a library card to use the computer. So we can easily go in there and put a note in their library card that they've lost the computer privileges
Okay.
for a year or for permanently.
Okay, I was just making sure we had a way to implement the rule. Perfect. Thank you.
So if somebody does lose those privileges, is there a way to get those back?
Well, we have never had at this library a problem with porn. But if they were looking at porn, to me, with the permission of the city manager, that would be permanent. But if they were doing if it was teenagers being loud and giggling and loud and obnoxious, yes, I could see a 1 month or a 3 month or a 6 month or a year, you know, depending on.
And you define that same on their card, like you said, you put the penalty or whatever, so that can be managed? Okay.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Pam.
A motion to approve as amended?
Second.
I don't know if I can motion. I said, do we have a motion
So
to
moved.
approve? That's okay.
I'll second your
That was
second.
for item B, right? Or-
Yes,
Yeah,
item
Okay. And Coffee,
Yes.
Bledsoe,
Yes.
Marshall,
B. Yes.
Davis. Yes. Goldar.
Yes.
Rupp,
Yes.
O'Shea. Yes. Wortham.
Yes.
C, mission statement. Mission statement is to inspire lifelong learning, advance knowledge, and strengthen communities.
every 4 years, we just have to.
Yeah, so, we have a motion.
7 Central, 10-7.
I'll make a motion that we keep it.
I'll second that.
And Copy.
Yes.
Bledsoe.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Davis. Yes. Goldar.
Yes.
Rupp.
Yes.
O'Shea. Yes. Wortham.
Yes.
And D, patron responsibility policy.
There's no changes, I don't think, is there?
Is there not? Looks like there is.
Yeah, there's-
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
down.
second.
Yeah,
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 I'm
go down
down,
one.
sorry. Stopped right there.
Should've kept rolling.
I assume we're adding these for reasons,
Yes.
right?
These are, I've worked in libraries since I was 20, so these are stuff I've seen, or whenever I meet with the other library directors, this is stuff they have seen.
Okay.
I'm not saying since I was 20 is a long time, though.
Just been a few years.
Yeah.
No. Okay, do you have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the policy changes.
I'll second that. Seems sad that we need some of these.
Yeah.
And Copy.
Yes.
Bledsoe.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Davis. Yes. Goldar.
Yes.
Rupp.
Yes.
O'Shea. Yes. Wortham.
Yes.
Any new business? And we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Thanks, Pam.
Okay.
Thanks, Pam. So didn't I, you want to say the invocation?
Oh, no, I did not, I
I'll
forgot
do
all
it.
about that. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. We'll do it in this meeting.
Okay.
I'm ready.
You ready? All right, let's call our meeting to order for the City Council, City of Perry, and have roll call.
Copy.
Here.
Bledsoe.
Still here.
Marshall.
Here.
Davis. Here. Goldar.
Here.
Rupp.
Here.
Williams. O'Shea. Here. Wortham.
Here. All right, we've got quorum, and I'll offer the invocation for tonight. Our Father in heaven, we are grateful for this opportunity that we have to come together as a council for the City of Perry. Father, we're grateful for the opportunity that we have to serve our community, to discuss policies, procedures, and ordinances, and the potential for growth and for a better community. Father, we're grateful for your Son, Jesus Christ, for the example that he is to us and the gospel that he taught, that we can grow and become better individuals. Father, we ask for your assistance tonight, that as we discuss these items, that we can have discernment and the ability to see past ourselves and look for the betterment of our community. And for these things we pray in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, so let's start off with item number 1, our consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
And Copy.
Yes.
Bledsoe.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Davis. Yes. Goldar.
Yes.
Rupp.
Yes.
O'Shea. Yes. Wortham.
Yes. All right, item 4, we did not have any comments from those assembled, so we'll move on to item number 5, proclamations, commendations, reports, and inquiries by the governing body. So we'll start with our ward reports. Ward 1. Scott?
So a couple of things. One is we had some electrical issues on our block, and we had the fire department, the police department, and the electric department there. Within minutes, there was a pole on fire, and they had the electric back on within like an hour. So kudos to those guys. And I had several neighbors talk about how anytime there's an issue, the electric department's there and they get whatever's done quickly. So please tell those guys thank you, and it's noticed.
I'll pass it on, thanks.
And then I'm just excited to see some road work happening I've seen it on 4th Street, but I haven't made it to 9th Street yet, but I see 4th Street almost every day, and exciting to see it happening.
Nothing, Shay? No. Austin? No? Danette?
I do not have anything.
Randy?
A couple of things. I've made a trip out to Fairview this past week, and there are lots of little towns between here and there that aren't doing as well as we are. And so if you have people that really just can't stand what we're doing here, you might advise them to drive out through western Oklahoma and see what could be the opportunity. Second piece was apparently a few nights ago there was a major wreck on I-35, and it caused a tremendous amount of traffic to come down Fur. There were a lot of semis and cars turning north on 15th Street, which ultimately just turns into a dirt road. Was there something we could have done different, or could we have someone stationed there telling them to go on to the next light, where they could have at least got on Highway 77 without going down dirt road? Because later that same evening I was driving north out of Perry, and there was a lineup of cars and semis coming down that dirt road. I'm sure it was okay, but that's not a great place for semis to turn or to make that dirt road corner. So
You better go down to the
if we knew there was an accident that was completely closing I-35, could we have done something different to help guide that traffic?
Yeah, really good question. Let me review it with our police chief and see if we can get something in place. I know we already have, certain procedures during accidents, but I don't know that that's on there. So let him and I chat and see what we can figure out. I appreciate it.
That's all I've got.
All right. Sammy?
I don't have anything this time.
All right. Derek? All right. I guess just a quick little update from me. So we've had OML came out and had a regional meeting, and Perry hosted it, and I thought that was a really informative and interesting meeting to see the things that are happening, and they were really impressed with Perry. And they said they had driven around a little bit, and then when we gave our update of some things that were happening in Perry, they were impressed and shocked. Like Randy said, there's a lot of other cities that don't have a lot going on, and really when you compare it to the things that we've got coming up in Perry with distribution center or streets, or all the focus that we have on our economic development and the housing, we are really taking on a lot, and we're succeeding in a lot of areas. So they were very, very impressed with what we're doing in Perry. And then I've had an opportunity over this week and then last week, I think I've spoken at 4 or 5 different groups with Lion Club, American Legion, the men's breakfast over at First Christian Church. There was OML, and there was another thing that I spoke at, just talking about the things that are happening in Perry, and just the community and the people that from these events that I've been going around and talking to. I've been telling them about our strategic plan, the things that we've had happening over the last 2 years, and the things that have happened since we brought Nate in the picture. People are really impressed in our community with what we have going on. We've got even Senator Chuck Hall has mentioned a number of times that he has not seen this much excitement and this much development happening in Perry for a long time. And so I guess I want to pass those kudos and congratulations from those people and from Senator Hall to the rest of the council that our efforts are being noticed and appreciated. So that's what I've got for everybody. So with that, we'll move on to item number 6, city manager remarks.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. I have a few things. The first is I was also going to mention the OML conference and just talk about, for those watching who are residents, we had a tremendous level of participation from the council. I think we had 5 or 6 council members there, and I think we may have had 1 or 2 mayors from other towns, but ours, 5 or 6 is far beyond what they put forth. So I was just really grateful, and it made me appreciate this council, and I think people need to realize, and they don't get to see that because they obviously weren't there, but I just wanted to let them know that this council cares, and they give of their personal time, even though they really don't get compensation for what they're doing. So that's the first thing. Second, our billing clerk, Autumn Gerdo, has reminded me to ask the public to participate in our public power survey. We have a certain threshold we need to meet in terms of participation. We're about 90% there. So if you haven't taken that survey, you can jump on our Facebook page, and it's one of the most recent posts to be able to take that survey. It takes about 5 minutes. I wanted to let everybody know that we have sent out the notice, the public notice for the Historic Preservation District. It included a letter, it included an updated map, and that it also included a map that compared the old district with the new district, and talked about the 55% reduction in size so that residents could see that we heard you, right? As a council, they heard you and they reduced that district. We're having a special meeting on the 17th of November at 5 p.m. At the Bank and Trust Event Center to discuss that new proposed district. The next thing is I wanted to just mention our Planes and Cars event, which we had 2 Saturdays ago. It went very, very well. We had over 1,000 people attend that event. It was a lot of fun, particularly early in the day as it got hot and football games started later on, people left. So we learned a few things this year, but all in all, really great event and lots of participation. So just wanted to pass on my appreciation as the manager to staff and all those who participated in that event.
So Nate,
Yeah.
did you feel it was positive enough and that you learned enough that it's worthwhile to do again?
Yeah. We're planning on repeating next year.
The
So
lobster alone was worth it.
yeah, we had a lot of people mention the lobster, but people had a really good time at the car show. There's just a lot of things going on. I think the one thing that wasn't as big of a hit was the band. It was just, I think, a timing issue. They started right as the OU Texas game started, so everyone had already left.
That makes it tough.
So,
You know, that's one of the things that, I think it was the men's breakfast at the church that I spoke at. Afterwards, there's 2 of the guys came up to me and talked about that event because they had attended it. And being residents of Perry, they even mentioned, they're like, you know what, I forgot that we have that airport. And they're like, hadn't been out there, and it had been years and years and years since they'd been out there last. And they said that they were really impressed with the whole property, that it was clean, there wasn't trash, the grass was really nice, the tarmac was nice, the hangars were nice. And they just said that they forgot that we had it, and they were impressed with how it looked, that it didn't look run down or anything like that.
yeah, I had quite a few people who pulled up, and when they paid to get in, which we won't do next year, it'll be a free event. We weren't sure what the revenues would look like exactly this year, but after doing it once, we've recognized, okay, we can do it without those revenues. But I bring that up because people would pay, and they would pay the $5 to get in, and then say, oh, keep the change. You guys need to do more stuff like this. We're really glad you're doing it. So lots of really positive feedback all around. And then the last thing was just streets project update. So as Scott mentioned, 4th Street and 9th Street have been zipped and packed and are planning on being asphalted this week. So we're going to do it either tomorrow or Wednesday, depending on kind of a couple finalization things. Just wanted to give a shout out to the county for being willing to provide us trucks and drivers for that. That partnership is just really powerful. As Nick Hughes has said several times, us smaller communities or smaller entities can't really do things by ourselves. You always have to have a collaboration between groups. So just wanted to give them a shout out. With that, I don't have any other remarks unless there's questions for me.
Could you maybe send out an email or a text to us on council that we can, when it's being done,
Yeah,
if we wanted to come by and check it out?
sure. Yeah, I'll put a reminder to it.
Because I think that would be fun to share on Facebook, because I have a lot of people everywhere I go asking me about streets. When we're going to start doing streets. And so to show that, I think that'd be good.
Yeah, I'll send something.
And to just give our support to the street department while they're doing it. Thank
I
you.
liked your update on the app, talking about the streets and what's going on. I didn't realize you wanted people driving on it to help pack it down. So
Yeah.
I was turning the corner now, I'm like, nope, I'm driving through.
Yeah, it's kind of counterintuitive, right?
Right.
You normally see that and avoid it. We're like, no, we want people on it. So.
Right.
All right, well, any other question, Nate? All right, thank you, sir. Let's go on to item number 7, our CFO report.
Well, guys, we're, as hard as it is to believe, a quarter of the way through the year. Here we are sitting in October, we're looking back at the first 3 months and kind of where our numbers are and what we've had. Just kind of from a top level view, when we look at sales tax and use tax, so far year to date, sales tax is down about 7%. That's what we were expecting. I told you going in that we didn't expect to collect as much. We're going to talk about the financials here in just a second. We're actually ahead of budget by about 2%. So we're where we expected to be. Now we always hope we're going to end up better, but we are where we expected to be. Likewise on the use tax, down about 1% on use tax. So there you go. All in all, the same piece as far as that goes. Related to, normally I give you guys a CPI number, but thanks to the governmental shutdown, the PLS is not issuing their numbers this month, so I don't have a CPI number for you. Last month we were at about 3%, so it's probably staying in that exact range. We'll see whenever numbers start getting re-released again. Our cost adjustment for the second time in 2025 was actually a positive power cost adjustment, meaning we charged a little more for the wholesale cost of electricity and passed that on. Now it was 0.34 cents, so a very minute number, again, really close to zero, but it was a positive number. We do expect that a lot of times coming out of August, being a hot month, a high demand, pieces that drives kind of that fluctuation will drive us into a positive PCA number. But whenever it's only 2 out of the 9 months that we've been through, that's still a pretty good number for setting in a positive piece. If you're looking at the financials, on the general fund, you will see that we did receive the $1 million that we have come in for the hospital. That money will get transferred out in October. So don't look at the cash and don't look at the bottom line and think, oh my gosh, we're doing really good. We do $1 million. We should be set at about 25%. As you read down through there, I mentioned sales tax. We're about 2% over at this point, so that number's looking good. The street, if you're looking at street, capital outlay is set at 83%. Again, a high number, but that includes the purchase of equipment, the layout machine, that is going to be the biggest piece of that, plus some of the work that we're actually doing on the streets is coming in there. So that number's higher. The others are really related to park and rec, swimming pool, even the ballparks, all of that being seasonal and those kind of things. So we're going to go into a lull time when we don't have any activity there. So everything is looking good in the general fund. Again, don't look at the net income and think, oh my gosh, we're going to keep that net income. Like I said, I'm getting rid of $1 million of it this month. So that transfer will go out in October. On the utility side, the electric revenue is at 33%. That is actually a little higher than what we would expect. Normally we should be at 28-29%, kind of based seasonally adjusted. Really with the weather and everything else, I was a little shocked that we were that high as far as total revenue goes, which is good, but don't think that we're making extra money. Look at our wholesale cost of electricity, at 32%. So we're right in line with really what we expected. As far as gross profit goes, it's just we have a bit more on the top side revenue. But our cost is right there, set where we would expect to be. As far as the other utilities, pretty much everything in line with where we expected. So we're moving forward. Again, Bash said 26%, really good. The one thing that I will note coming in October, the CUPS award, so the Energy Office revenue, the $20,000 will show up there. I had the CUPS check-in a couple of days ago, so that's good. For last year's CUPS award, part of what Nate was mentioning, that Autumn wants everybody to fish filling out the surveys, so we will continue to qualify for that. It's a nice, easy it's not an easy $20,000 to get, but if we do all the stuff and we put in the time and we take care of doing that part, getting that $20,000 each year does pay off. Because the underlying cost of that, as you can see, we spend about $7,500 to $8,000 a year getting it, so it's a net $10,000 to $12,000 to the good for us, so we need to keep on doing that. Other than that, I really don't have anything for this month or this quarter. Do you guys have any questions I can answer?
I've got a question, Russ, and maybe you and/or Nate. As I've been traveling around the last month, I've gone through several towns and cities where they are either talking about or in the process of raising their electric rates because supply is outgrowing, or demand is outgrowing supply. Are we feeling pretty confident with where we're getting our electricity and what the rates are going to be and what they look like in the next few months?
So twofold on that. As far as wholesale cost of electricity, I'll let Nate address that coming out of his OMPA board meetings and those things. Probably let him give that part update. But back to the city side and the total revenue and where we're setting that piece. We've really focused based on the last couple of years of trying not to hit electric revenue rate increase. So we're not going to make as much gross profit in our additional revenues coming out of electricity. We've moved to that piece. We've really focused on getting the water and the sewer back into balance. Councilman Coffey, specific request for me over the last 4 or 5 years has been to make sure that each of those departments are really covering their cost, and that's what we're really focusing on. So the increases that you see in electricity, while probably will be CPI related, just so that we keep pace with what's going on, the big underlying part of electricity is going to be in the wholesale cost of electricity, and then where OMPA is looking at passing through, we will pass it through, but what charges we're getting from OMPA. So I'm going to stop at that and let Nate maybe talk a little bit. We didn't plan this, but if you don't mind, talk a little bit about the OMPA side.
Yeah, so I was in a OMPA board meeting this last Thursday, and they were talking about an increase due to some of the factors you're talking about. And they had a breakdown of all their cities and based on our factor of usage and demand and what increase we're going to see come January 1st. Perry's was about 2.89%, so not massive, but people will see a dollar difference if we pass that on. We haven't gotten to the point yet where we've kind of sat down and said, okay, what does that mean exactly for us? Do we want to pass this whole amount on? What does that look like? We don't have anything like that, but yeah, just so you know, the wholesale cost is increasing, and that's not just OMPA, that's nationwide. So.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you, Russ. Anybody have any other questions for Russ? All right. Let's move on to item number 8, presentation by Perry Chamber of Commerce.
Katie did have something come up last minute and said she wouldn't be able to make it.
Okay.
So we can either push this or you have the reports and you can look at them and talk about them. She said be here next time.
Okay.
So we could just do that. I think that's probably what I'd
We
recommend.
can hold that off till our next meeting. Item number 9, consider TAP grant options.
Yeah, so TAP grant, which is our sidewalk project grants that you may remember from last year and the year before. That grant is coming, so I wanted to talk about that with council and submit 3 options. As we kind of looked at these options as staff, last year we talked about, and I'm not going to pull anything up right now, but if I do, just so you know, you're not looking at the screen, I don't have anything up. But last year we were doing BMAC Phase 2, the sidewalk around that. As I've talked about that with staff, we've kind of looked at an overhaul on that whole project. In fact, we budgeted money to redesign it because the way it works now isn't really what we were thinking. It was planned for baseball, and now we're thinking softball, and that changes some dimensions. And long story short, I just don't think we're at the point where we could really apply for a grant for a sidewalk because we don't know where it's going to be exactly. So that one was kind of crossed off our list. The second one was we talked about last year that still could be an option would be a trail from CCC Lake, like a walking trail, to town. And we have acquired some easements for that. We don't have all of the easements we need, but it's certainly something we could chase if that's what you're wanting to do. The third recommendation, or the third option, which is actually the recommendation, would be to use this for the square, downtown square remodel. So we've talked to the TAP grant administrators. They've said, actually, you could use this for the inside of your square, that sidewalk, and the lighting upgrades, which is really the big piece. I was in a meeting the other day with Main Street and Ditchwich and some other, the county, and we were talking about the costs of just changing or updating the lighting, and it's enormous. To the point where, you know, it's gonna put that project longer, a timeline longer, maybe 3 years. And that's really not what we want. We'd like to move a little bit faster. And this would be a key piece to that, is redoing that sidewalk and updating the lighting.
So this is part of what Laura showed us, right?
So that grant doesn't cover that lighting?
The
on
green
sidewalk?
space
Yeah.
grant that they got.
No, they can use it for any portion of those upgrades, but really they have, you know, $3 million worth of upgrades to the square. And they have,
Their grant was,
I was just curious.
how much was their grant?
I think they said this first year they have about 700,000
Wow.
to spend. So it's, not a knock on the money they do have. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's awesome. But it's a really big project. you
Yeah.
know, and things are so expensive right now.
So this would add about how much?
Whatever the cost is for that interior sidewalk and lighting.
Oh, okay.
So the past projects we've seen have been about $800,000.
Okay.
And this would probably be somewhere in the park.
Okay.
So, and our match is, I think 10%. As a small community, I think it's 20% for larger, so we pay about 70,000. So. And Russ, remind me where we were pulling that from. You told me the other day, and I can't remember what we were using to match those projects. those
The old
TAP grants.
projects, we've just used fund, I mean, we have carryover, we've done capital projects, and that's setting in part of those reserved funds that we have setting out there.
Oh, for capital, so
Yes.
capital
Capital.
improvements, okay.
So Nate, we'd be applying for the grants now. When would they become available? If
Well, you file pretty quickly if you get them, but they take a long time to let. So, for example, the one that we applied for last year, we've been working really hard. Ron came and presented, you all remember that. That one we're planning on commencing construction in January of '27. So they do take a long time to actually get moving. I don't think that will be an issue since it's just the outside of the square. They can work on the interior stuff, and then the outside can be something that, you know, we're working on and get done at ODOT's timeline, really.
So this would just cover the lighting around the interior of the square?
Lighting and sidewalk, yeah, around the interior.
And is there any projects that are more favorable from the grant?
Perspective, interpoints.
Well, or is a trail to a park more likely to get approved than a sidewalk around the square, or vice versa?
You know, it's something I'd have to talk to probably the engineer who administered it. So last year we had 3 firms kind of look at it because their point system is pretty complex. Like, you get more points for going to a school, and there's quite a few things involved. And I haven't done any kind of deep analysis on which would score the best.
Yeah, would the downtown help if it was the historic district
Yeah, I don't know.
improving its
It's a good
historic
question.
district?
But it seems from the past that if you apply and you have a good project, you've got about 80% chance of getting it, just
Yeah.
throwing out a percentage. It's pretty good. They have a lot of money for it. So I would think if we applied, I would almost tell you for certain we'd probably get it, particularly a project like that. In the downtown, we're making other investment where we've had sidewalk projects, you know, around the outer edge of the square and from the square now north. I mean, it's all tied into a plan, and that's what they want to see.
Right.
They want to see you accomplish a plan, and we have that.
So council, what are your thoughts on those 2 projects? I mean, I like the idea of a trail going to CCC, but then we've got so much going with downtown and making that really an amazing space. That's also a great project.
I would love to see walking path and a bike path to CCC Lake.
Right.
But when you think about the number of citizens that it would,
Right.
we could address and what it
Yeah.
would do for the, to me, the downtown is the,
Me too.
And just to not delay the project anymore.
Right.
If that's a cost,
Right. And with what,
it's not covered yet.
yeah, with what Laura showed us, I mean, that downtown would be incredible with the improvements that they're looking at doing. And for us to contribute to that, I think would be good too.
Yeah, I'd hate to have this super nice new square and then those old green lights that,
Right.
are outdated. So-
Right.
Is there anything wrong with the sidewalk on the side of the square?
It's a good question. Those sidewalks, oftentimes you can't just look at it and say like, oh, it's not that cracked, because they make them ADA compliant.
Mhm.
And so they'll look at even the grade like side to side. Like
Mhm.
some of the sidewalks that we're ripping out for this Locust Street and 7th Street project, they look really good. And I walk on them like, this is fine. But I'm not thinking of it from a perspective of someone on a wheelchair, right?
Mhm.
And that's the kind of people that they're building them for.
So even making them a little wider, because I mean, when we have events, and you've got,
they're awfully narrow.
yeah, they get crowded real fast.
Yeah, and those are all things that we could do. They require them to be, ADA, which is 5 feet, but it's been really cool to see they take recommendations into consideration. And even if it's outside the scope of the project, but we just want to pay a little bit more to have it done while they're doing it, we can do that.
Right.
So I think it's a pretty good deal, and as Bryce indicated, ODOT's excited to give these out. In fact, they were the ones who brought it up to me. They're like, have you applied for the TAP grant? And I was like, oh, I didn't know we could do another one, because we have, like 3 happening right now. Anyway, I think it would be a great project, and
Mhm.
so if council's okay with that, that's the direction we'll take, and we'll go ahead and move forward.
So if we're wanting to do this so that we can speed up the work downtown, but it's not gonna get started for 3 years, then what's the point?
Yeah, good question. So it wouldn't speed up the outside piece, but it would speed up all the stuff on the inside, because instead of taking that money and saying, hey, we're gonna spend it on sidewalks and on lighting, they could then put that towards the inside stuff, knowing that, hey, this other stuff is covered.
Yeah, we're covering that so they can put their funds towards something else, yeah.
just take that trail to CC Lake off your wish list.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
that,
it's
yeah.
been on there. I think it'd be really
We've got
cool.
a couple of jewels
Yeah.
with the downtown and that lake.
Mhm.
If we could do something, everything you read, walkable cities are where people want to live.
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause even from downtown, I mean, if we eventually had that trail to the lake, you can have signage or things that say, hey, take this there, but even down the road, like, keep working on those easements, so at least we can get them ahead of time, so that when we do want to do that, we can pull the trigger.
Yeah, I'll keep doing it. Derek's been really good at that, actually, like looking ahead with me and saying, oh, like this is a property owner and I know him and we might be able to get, this from them.
Yeah.
So it's been, we'll continue to do that, absolutely.
All right. Any other comments, council? About TAP grant?
Thank you for pursuing those.
Yeah, yeah. I guess anytime we can go after those, keep going after them. All right, let's go on to item number 10. Consider amendments to Chapter 1, Section 9E, and Chapter 5, Section 5.8.23 of the City of Perry, Perry Municipal Authority Personnel Manual concerning gratuities.
Yeah, so this one's something that kind of came up randomly. Bryce and I were talking about some programs that other cities are doing in terms of gifts and things like that, and we got thinking about our policy. And as we examined our policy, we realized that it's so strict that it eliminates things that, frankly, people are already doing, like Christmas gifts, small Christmas gifts, or like a meal when somebody says, hey, I want to take you out to lunch. And so we wanted to make some changes that would allow those things while still staying within the bounds of ethical considerations. So what we did is we looked at the state policy. They have some really good manuals regarding ethics and gratuities, so we looked at theirs and we incorporated that with some other cities and came up with this new policy that is still strict but does make allowances for things that are really reasonable. So as you read that, I guess what, are there questions that you have for me that you want to discuss?
It would allow you to take a hat, a cup, a t-shirt, you know, a meal, a
Under
reasonable meal,
$20, yeah.
coffee. And if you drive in, you know, it doesn't allow cash or tickets to Trans-Siberian Orchestra in Oklahoma City. I mean, you know, there are issues that kind of sets a dollar value, but the rule right now is so strict, and I assume it's not being followed. You know, I mean, and we need, if we're gonna have a rule, we need to have a rule that's capable of being followed. And we did take a lot of this language right off the state manual, so it made me feel comfortable. We do have the gratuity provision in the charter. It's just that we need to be able to, kind of interpret it. What does that mean? I'm certainly comfortable with this.
It just hit me, if I recall correctly, there's a part that says that it can't be given to a person, it has to be given to
Yeah,
the
that's the
city,
city.
but how would that work with a meal or a
No, it can be given to
okay.
it can be given to an individual. I mean,
That part's struck.
Oh, it was struck.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
struck. And that doesn't mean that you can't bring in, I mean, folks bring in boxes of donuts and they bring all kinds of stuff in City Hall from time to time. But,
I guess, for example, like back when we had the freeze, there was a number of people that brought food and things for the water department when they were
Hot
working.
chocolate.
Yeah.
and then you get down to the language that we have. Is it in performance of assigned duties? Is it, and so we added performance or non-performance because it can go, it can go either way, look the other way. And so I think it's a lot more, I think it's a lot smarter.
So it is still in there.
Where's it at?
So E, the
Yeah.
last sentence of
Yep,
E.
Right above chapter 5.
Let's see. All
Would you
goods
read
or
it?
gratuities must
Oh.
be made to the city of Perry and not to any individual department or office. Yeah,
Yeah, but it does say except as otherwise provided. I mean that's the key to that sentence. We've provided up above
Oh, okay.
what the exceptions
Yeah.
are, and then so this would be the general, other than what we've said. So that's
Because we do accept gifts and gratuities at a city level in terms of cash and things like that, right? But it doesn't have to be a city level. So this, above, it's for specific things that aren't those things, but are still reasonable.
And we
don't
certainly
lose.
welcome them.
We do.
And
You don't
if
mix
if you give them, I'll give you a tax exempt letter, which I've given many too, and you can take that off on your federal and state taxes. So
Box of donuts.
Bryce carries those in his pocket.
oh no, I have a bunch of them in my computer.
The tax exempt.
How about a disclaimer, please see your CPA before you take Bryce's tax advice.
That's right.
Yeah, no joke.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Roll call.
Okay, Coffee,
Yes.
Bledsoe,
yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Goldar,
Yes.
Rupp,
Yes.
O'Shea,
Yes.
Wortham.
Yes. Okay, item 11, Items pertaining to REAP grant for improvements to enhance the reliability, redundancy, and capacity of the water treatment plant project. 11A, consider approval of resolution number 2025-15, authorizing an application for financial assistance from the Rural Economic Action Plan REAP Fund to enhance the reliability, redundancy, and capacity of the water treatment plant project in the amount of $200,000, authorize the local match, and designate funding source.
So this is the project we're already debt servicing. There's a REAP grant available, and we'd love to get 200,000 towards that. We're not totally certain that we will get it, but by applying we get additional, and not getting it we get additional points next year. And so we wanted to at least try.
And this is the one that you handed out, Bryce, right?
Yeah, both that. The other resolution adds this project to our CPI list, capital improvement projects list, and you get 10 points for if it's on your list and listed as mandatory. So it's a quick 10 points. It's a resolution you need to pass.
And what would the funding source be?
We're borrowing the FAP money that we did at the last.
This was 2 meetings ago that we,
So it would just lessen the amount that we would
Right.
need. We could pay it back faster, or we could use it for additional sewer or water treatment plant improvements. Yeah, but the money's.
That's a max we could go for. Or-
Yeah.
I move we approve resolution 2025-15.
Second.
Okay.
Okay, Copy.
Yes.
Bledsoe.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Davis. Yes. Goldar.
Yes.
Rupp.
Yes.
O'Shea. Yes. Wortham.
Yes. 11B, consider approval of resolution number 2025-14, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Perry, Oklahoma, amending the 2022 capital improvement plan of the City of Perry, Oklahoma by amending section E entitled Water, Sewer, Electric by adding a project under subsection Water titled Improvements to Enhance the Reliability, Redundancy, and Capacity of the Water Treatment Plant Project, and classifying such project with a designation of mandatory and providing for an estimated cost of $1.2 million.
Approve this for 10 points.
And this doesn't really change anything that we're going to act with or how it's set up, or
No,
we're just the way we're classifying it.
absolutely not. You just have to plan. NODA wants you to plan your projects, and they will give you points if it's part of your CIP, and they'll give you more points if it's categorized as mandatory. So every year when we come up with a project, if it's not in the CIP, we do this.
Motion to approve resolution 2025-14.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Copy.
Yes.
Bledsoe.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Davis. Yes. Goldar.
Yes.
Rupp.
Yes.
O'Shea. Yes. Wortham.
Yes. All right, item number 12, discussion of amending the foul ordinance. Council to discuss and give city administration direction.
So you can see down on page 62, we've put the old ordinance on there, and then 2 pages below that, we put the new proposed ordinance. A little bit of background here. The reason I'm bringing it back, frankly, is I felt like from the feedback we got last time that we just wouldn't talk about this again. And then I had several council members, in fact 4, brought it up and said, hey, what if we do this? And it got to the point where I'm like, well, if the majority of council is wanting to do this or do something, it's worth bringing back. And so Mayor Wortham asked that we bring it back for this meeting as kind of a finalization, that we either do something or, put it to bed. And I can give kind of an overview of what we're planning. So the new ordinance allows chickens, ducks, quail, and pigeons, so that we don't ever have to do this again. It allows the 5-bird limit for any single-family property, and allows a additional permit that you can get with 75%, of adjacent neighbor approval, as well as based on acreage. So you can get an additional 10 birds if you have 3 total acres or more on your property. So basically what it's doing is it's saying, hey, you get 5, you can have up to 15 max if you have the acreage to cover it and your neighbors approve it. This new ordinance also provides setbacks so that the birds can't be too close to the neighbor's house or too close to the edge of your property. And then it just has some protection provisions in there in terms of noise and nuisance and things like that. So what questions do you have for me before discussing?
How does the acreage work? Say I have 10 acres, but 9 of the chickens can't live there. Is it up
Yeah,
to
who
the person?
determines that?
Yeah, is it up?
We don't have anything in here that says livable, so we wouldn't look that deeply at it. According to this ordinance, we would just say, hey, if you're on 3 acres, then you can have 15 birds with 75% neighbor approval, etc.
But it does mention backyard property.
It has to be backyard property, correct?
So it has to be acreage in the back.
That's correct. Yeah.
So you
I'm
can't
sure.
really
So
count the whole
what would be
acre.
bigger? What would be
Yeah.
backyard?
Yeah, I think,
Outside of public view is the definition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you're walking along the street, you can't. Backyard is considered something you can't see from your front.
Well, then you can't count the whole 3 acres or 10 acres if you, know what I mean?
That's not,
Because that's not their whole backyard.
Well, it's easy to measure. I can measure it on a map in 30 seconds.
so does it change if they have a fence or not? The definition, that definition you gave, would it change if they had a privacy fence or somebody that didn't have a
I
privacy
don't know,
fence?
you're getting into legalities here that Bryce would have to answer on that.
So like we'll say my house, I know I'm ag, so it doesn't really count, but in my house, I have a huge front yard. I can't have chickens in my front yard?
Yeah, even with our current ordinance, we can.
That wouldn't count
It
as
has to
part
be
of the
backyard,
property.
outside of
And that
public
wouldn't
view.
count as part of my acreage?
Correct.
Okay.
So I'm struggling with the whole concept. I mean, we came up with this fun ordinance to let families have a few chickens, either to teach their kids, how to manage a pet or whatever. And now we're moving into commercial.
I don't
I
think
mean,
it's
to me,
commercial.
there's absolutely no reason. I mean, we might as well add pigs and sheep and goats to this. Because, they can all be mitigated with a certain amount of acres.
Right.
The bad things that go along with those can be mitigated with a certain amount of acres. We're trying to take something that's fun and unique and special and turn it into something that is now basically commercial enterprise.
I don't see it as commercial.
But you may not see it that way, but what is the reason for more?
If you have a big family that eats a lot of eggs,
We're not
or
gonna
you
do it
want
in
to
the
give
grocery
eggs
store, I don't
away
think,
to
but,
people.
I can't see the good in this. I mean, I've had more calls and people stop me on the street on this than anything that we've talked about, and all of it's been, why are you doing it?
I've had a lot of conversations too, and it's been just the opposite.
I hadn't had anybody come to me except for the ones that want it, so nobody talks to me. Somebody please talk to me.
Say it louder.
Somebody please talk to me.
The good news about this, to Randy's point, was it does require 75% of your neighbors to say yes. So if someone across the neighborhood has 15 chickens, that doesn't affect me. I don't even know, right? But their neighbors know, and their neighbors have to say yes to that, or 75%.
Okay, and this says adjacent. So this is not like the 300 feet rule. This is
This is
their
properties touching.
property
Properties touching
touches
it.
your property. Is it the whole property or just the backyard?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't have an answer to that.
where the chickens would be.
Yeah, I suppose it'd be backyard is what my thought process goes to, but
The thing I like about
What
that
we haven't
application-
done is put it in any final form.
Right.
Right.
You know,
Mhm.
because, you know, Nate didn't want me to spend the time, and I would have played with it for a while. You know, I think the consent is a big thing. I think the maximum 15 birds, don't care how many acres you have, is it, you'd have to have at least 3 of backyard acres, but past that, I mean, you can't have more than 15 birds. You know, this past week, we had, which we didn't know, we had someone call and said that they had show pigeons in an aviary outside and had friends that had pigeons. It's like, well, we don't have any pigeons. That's how pigeons got added. I didn't know that show pigeons was a thing, but it is a thing apparently here in Perry.
Is it FFA pigeons?
Huh?
Or is it 4-H pigeons? FFA has a place right
Between
across
pigeons?
my street from my house where people can take their pigeons. I'm sorry.
Or show animals.
Mhm.
Or show,
Because at
show
some point, we're gonna need
the
to
show
include
animals.
those. I mean, I struggle to see what is wrong with the ordinance that we've got right now. I mean, what about Perry and growing people here and attracting people to our town makes the ordinance that we've got right now not good?
Well, I just struggle changing it for one family, for the whole town. That's,
Well, for anybody that wants to move here later.
yeah.
We're the chicken farm community now.
That's only if someone has more than 1 acre. I mean, the number of properties in Perry that have more than 1 acre, I thought I went back and tried to count how many there were, and there weren't a ton.
There's not
I mean,
very many.
There was like 5 or something like that.
And if they don't have chickens now, I mean, are they gonna, oh, wait,
Right.
now I can have 15 chickens, I'm gonna have chickens.
And with what's been given to us here, you know, out of those, we'll say 5 to 10 properties that could actually have more than 5 chickens, they would have to have that application, and they would have to have approval from their neighbors. So I mean, that would just put another restriction or another barrier in place, and then it would put the power of the decision in the neighbors. You know, they can ultimately say, no, we don't want our neighbor to have chickens. Or, yeah, no, we don't mind them having chickens, and then the only people that it's bothering are the neighbors, and they're the ones that are deciding on it.
yeah, I can certainly see it, I can certainly see it both ways. I think, I told you guys, you probably don't remember because this has been going on for so long, but I told you from the get-go, I really have no strong feelings about chickens.
Mhm.
I've never owned any chickens, but it is my job to enforce the ordinance, and frankly, I'm not gonna do that till we make a decision. You know,
Mhm.
are we gonna allow more or are we not? And I'll enforce whatever you choose, and I don't think we're gonna find consensus on this. I think you're just gonna have to vote, and whatever comes out, comes out.
Mhm.
We already have an ordinance, but one big concern is the predators that it draws in, and there's no means for citizens to handle that really. But, and then another thing that was in here, again, it's not finalized, but I believe requiring insecticide might be an issue with some of the owners, if I recall correctly. So I think there's other solutions beyond insecticide possibly, and it might be an issue.
Is the insecticide supposed to be for the chickens themselves? Or the ground?
It says to prevent infestation, so I don't know what the intent behind the item in here is, but I do believe some of these people have gone about getting chickens to have eggs and chickens that that don't have insecticides and things.
You could almost nix that portion from the ordinance. I mean, really, it's not adding a whole lot. I think the idea is chickens poop and it could draw more flies and things like that. And so it says an approved insecticide must be used to prevent any infestation of, bugs being present. So I think it's not really adding a whole lot. I don't think it's really, but that's not the issue, right? That's not the issue here. I think we can all agree that we can nix the insecticides and be fine with it. But the issue is the amount of chickens and the acreage.
And I know for several years, my neighbors to the back of us had tons of chickens in their backyard. Tons. I don't even know how many. And then all of a sudden they were gone, so I don't know what happened, but nobody ever came to say you have too many chickens. I never complained. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, if the neighbors don't say anything, we really don't ever find out.
How many permits do we have issued right now? Do we know?
I don't know the answer to that. Chief, do you have any idea?
It'll surprise you how many people have chickens.
Well, I know that a lot of people have chickens, but have they gotten their permit?
Yeah, I mean,
paid
with
their
the permit, because the ACO goes and inspects their cages to make sure they're proper within code. And there's, if I had to rough guess, I would say 20 to 25 people in town have chickens.
And they're all fine with the amount they have?
Well, I mean,
They're not here.
probably most of
That's the
them
ones
only
that are
have like
permitted.
that
We don't know,
little bit
Right,
of
like your
backyard.
neighbors that had
I said
hundreds,
that's
if
what
I
I'm saying.
never had a
Very many.
permit.
You got 4,500 people and only 20 of them have chickens. I mean, it's not. We don't have chickens running rampant like our cats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take care of the cat.
Just out of curiosity, present day, does the city get a lot of calls just about complaints about chickens? Just any calls about chickens in general? Do you get a lot of calls?
No.
Mainly dogs and cats.
It's probably more about dogs and cats than anything.
Well, I could complain about some
It's-
coyotes that
it's
are at my house.
nonstop
with
Nightly now.
dogs and cat calls.
The coyotes are bad, really bad. Has Cameron told you that? They're right on the fence,
Oh, yeah.
3 nights in a row.
When Derek mentioned predators, I don't know, we live in the same block, we've got a ration of probably 8 or 9 coyotes at night just howling right behind my yard, so they are in town at night, just
Yeah, they're at my house
screaming,
too.
so.
Mhm.
We've had a neighbor with a flare, and he's caught them on, I called the game warden, unfortunately, they can't trap, and they're bringing coyotes in, we're gonna lose animals, and, because they're trying to come to fences to get Sammy's dogs, that was on camera, and so they are in town now with the coyotes.
I'm like Scott, well, I think what you said, like, I don't really care about chickens one way or the other. But I do, who was it?
They,
Oh, Nate. But I do care about being fair and coming up with a solution that it may it may be different and it may be not like what I would do. But it's not just a cut and dry, we can't do this. It can only be this many. Like, like Randy, I don't know, like on the commercialized side of it, what does that look like? Like when you say people,
I mean, why do you need more than 5?
I don't know, and I think, and
I mean,
like,
I just can't get that in my head. I mean, to me, there's only one reason to have more than 5, and that's because now it's become a commercial operation.
yeah.
Or I'm breeding them to raise for other reasons. 5 is a fun. It's like, how many dogs do you need? I mean,
Yeah,
to me, there's limits on what a fun pet is and what then becomes other reasons for having them many. And we're not here to please every individual.
Right.
We're here to do the best thing for the community. And I think we've got to keep that in our minds. I mean, every person that comes up and wants something different or unique is not what our job is.
Right.
Our job is to make sure we're growing this community and we're keeping people safe and we're keeping predators out and that we're doing the things that we should, and that's where I'm frustrated.
If it's a predator thing, I can understand that, but I don't know about as far as having chickens or having ducks or stuff that would keep me from like going, oh, I don't want to move there because of this, because of the amount. And I don't know enough about, or I don't care about having them to know like what is too many. And I do agree though, it would be hard to, you can't police that.
Well, I will say Edmond allows more than, they have this incremental allowance and
Yeah, Edmonds
people are moving there.
I'd say Edmond, so they allow
8.
8 per acre. And you don't have an exodus of people leaving Edmond, because of their chickens. There's actually, Edmond's growing like crazy. That's not because of chickens.
I was gonna say, it's not because
It's not because of their chickens.
It's not
But,
right.
It may be the number of restaurants you can order chicken.
Right. But, there's, I don't think the number of chickens, that 5 being like a magical number is gonna make or break people moving or leaving Perry.
But I have been surprised before.
Yeah, that's true. And again, kind of going back to like what I said, like I like the idea of it kind of being up to the neighbors, put that decision, that power in their hands.
Right.
Because they're the ones that are really affected by it. If you don't want your neighbor having chickens, and if they apply for it, say no.
We need to, adjacent, if they can only be kept in the backyard, then should it be anyone who is adjacent to where the
Backyard
chickens
or
would
what
be?
the backyard is. I guess some more clarification on that.
Or fowl
Yeah.
would be birds.
Yeah, in my mind, when I was writing it, that was my thought process, is it has to be the backyard, because we really don't care how much, if you have 15 chickens in your backyard, and your backyard's only, a quarter of acre, but you have a front yard that's 5 acres, like,
Right.
that shouldn't affect it. Who cares how big your front yard is? The chickens have to live in the backyard.
Right.
So it has to be backyard. That was my intent when writing.
Yeah. And even this would be kind of different because like pigeons, it's not like you have free range pigeons that'd be gone,
No,
I'm
they
sure.
have to stay in a, they are, hey. I have lots of pigeons in my backyard.
They come home, I guess, yeah.
And crows. Big old crows.
Do you want us to include crows?
No. No.
I figured you'd say that.
Nate, I think you're gonna have to just take a stab at it and bring it to the council.
Just next time, bring something, we can vote on it.
Okay.
Do you feel like you've gotten enough kind of
feel like that's
ideas, or, it's still kind of all over the place.
I've done my part, but
Yeah.
it's in Bryce's hands now. He has to make it legal.
Do you have enough to kind of put something together?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's go.
May not pass.
Yeah.
We can only hope.
Is the $150 administrative fee, is that kind of standard, or is that,
Yeah, when you look at
or?
anything that requires the staff to appease one individual family, you want to make some kind of administrative fee to recoup some of that staff time, and to discourage, frankly, to discourage people who aren't serious about it.
And that's only for this special permit, right?
Right.
Correct, yeah. But we have administrative fees for all sorts of things.
Right.
Right. Well, that would include like the
is
the
this-
ACO officer going out there and inspecting and.
The ACO, us getting the packet together, giving them the packet, explaining the packet, receiving the packet back, approving the ordinance. Staff time. I think it's important.
Would it be the city's job to poll the neighbors?
That's what I was gonna ask, how
Or
does
would that be
how does
part of the
vote
package?
happen?
No, part of the packet.
That's part of the packet.
It's on the packet.
They have to bring it, the homeowner has to bring the signatures with them, I think.
I guess the city would just verify.
You should be thankful you're not Slaughterville. Tomorrow, we're talking about an animal sanctuary for pigs. And the woman is taking in all the pot-bellied pigs that grow to be 200 and 300 pounds into her 5-acre tract, and she has 40 or 50 of them. And there have been several approaches to dealing with that, but it comes up to a rezone to agricultural, which was something here that you could have done, rezone this tract to agricultural, and then you permit anything, and that's coming up for a vote tomorrow. So don't think that, animal issues are just here because they're lots of places.
Well, this will get bigger. You can't, how do you stop here? If you decide that that's.
There you go.
If you want to be fair to everybody, this list is going to be a lot more animals.
And, I think, at least in this case, when we talk about it's one individual, I see it more as a fairness per acre thing. But
we do have a limit on dogs, and it's not per acre, right?
no, you're right, but it's a total of 4 or 5 dogs and cats in the aggregate. But I was just thinking that even if we pass this ordinance as written, it wouldn't satisfy the current application. The current application, as I understand, is significantly more birds than 15. Correct?
Of the applicant?
Yeah, of the applicant.
Yeah, it would cut them
It would
by
cut-
60%.
Huh?
It would cut them by 60%.
60%. So, even what we're looking at, which is reasonable, doesn't achieve the what's being requested from the applicant. The only thing that would achieve that is rezoning the property to agriculture, but we have a 10-acre limit, which I suppose could be varied by a board of adjustment, allowing that acreage to be less than, the minimum, which is 10 acres.
Yeah, but that's been voted on. That was voted on by council last time, and I think
Right.
we're all still on the same page. That's a bad idea.
Right. The only other thing is making this a specific use. We passed that specific use ordinance, and then you would go into your specific regulation about birds, and you'd say this regulation would not apply to any specific use granted by the council, okay? So long as there are reasonable conditions and regulations for that particular use applied, okay? So you would provide an exception in the animal section, and then you would make them, in this case, apply for a specific use permit. That, quite frankly, is what we did in Slaughtersville, and the Planning Commission rejected it out of hand, 5-0. So, but that is a technique where you can use conditions, and you can apply a rule for a specific use, just like we did to your, to the accessory building. There's a particular need, but I don't know if that's smart or not, or if we're just, reaching too much. But that is a way, a land use technique that you could use.
So if a property owner did a specific use for, I want 5 chickens, 5 ducks, and 5 pigeons, and it passed the specific use permit, if they were to leave, that specific use does not stay.
You could
with the
place
new
that. You could
owners?
place that condition, and you would probably call it a fowl sanctuary, or something, and then you would have that. And you'd say, and then you would apply specific conditions. If you would apply for it, and then the council ultimately would have specific conditions like, when you leave, it's gone, not more than X, and you would take into consideration the specific things about that property. That's how I did it there. They hated it, and so they did agriculture, and now they're going to vote that down, and tomorrow they're going to ask me, why didn't we do what you recommended at first? I fully anticipate, because they want to put conditions on it, and you can't put conditions on zoning.
But
You know.
essentially, Bryce, we're doing what you're describing. We're just saying anyone who falls in this criteria can.
You're absolute, there's nothing wrong with this ordinance. Yeah. It's just another way to provide for a land use regulation which is more specific to the request.
And if we don't approve for like the extra birds and we just do 5, we can still add ducks, quail, and pigeons.
Yeah. Ducks are already added, but pigeons, because
Quail.
it's hobby chicken, hobby duck right now, but it will be pigeons and quail.
So you want us to bring it back next council meeting and take a vote?
Can I speak on that?
Sure.
Okay, so I am the person who has the show pigeons. So I currently have 6. I have 6 show pigeons. I have different breeds, so they're not considered poultry, and I mean they kind of are. They're fowl. But when I show them, like at like an open fair, like at the county fair we just had here, they're in their own category. They're pigeons, and pigeons need not as much room as pigeons, like you're saying. Like for 3 acres, you know, we opt for more birds. But pigeons, they're contained. We have them in aviaries or lofts. The 2 other people I know in town that have, or the 3, they have lofts. I have aviaries, however you want to say it, but they don't need as, you're saying 3 acres for more birds. I have 6. You guys have a limit of 5. And also, pigeons are exceptionally more quiet than, let's say, a rooster or chickens. You know, they don't make noise, but they just coop. I think when you think about it, because modernly pigeons are considered pests, there's really been no permits for them. I've looked everywhere. That's why I decided to contact the city clerk about it, because we had some dogs come on our property and go after my birds. But they were contained, they have their own aviaries. So I think you might opt out of pigeons, because I mean, and if we want to have the animal control officer come out and like look at the conditions I have them living in, I mean, we can change them or upgrade them or whatever we need to do, but I don't think we should group them with poultry. Quail, yes, most of them are exotic, so they do need a permit, as like bob whites and mountain quail, but I don't think pigeons are permittable or shouldn't be permittable as per they're considered pests. But when, because they're all domestic, but when you have them, like I use them for show and they're pets, mine are pets, and I show them occasionally. But there's a guy in town, he races them. You know, he takes them places, they come back to his loft and they stay there. There's another guy in town, he does specifically fancy pigeons, so they don't go race. These ones, he just takes them to shows all around the state or out of state and just shows them in cages. That's how he does, and I know someone did have a question about like 4-H pigeons or something like that. We did bring our pigeons to the state fair, or the open fair this year, to kind of get the youth involved, because it is a dying hobby. So that's kind of, so I could see where like hobby ducking or hobby chickening, or however that goes into, but I just think we should leave pigeons out of it. And if you, like, let's say I call and I'm like, hey, can I get someone to like approve of where I have my birds, or, you know, put a cap on pigeons, I don't know, a separate, because they don't really go hand in hand with poultry. So that's my take on that. And I apologize, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Something to take into consideration with that. So any other comments or discussion on that? All right. We'll take a look at that in our next meeting. So moving on to item number 13. Consider convening into executive session for the purposes of 1, conferring on matters pertaining to the economic development of the city of Perry involving the preparation of a proposal to recruit a national retail business to locate within the city of Perry, Oklahoma, if public disclosure of the matter discussed would interfere with the development and implementation of the proposal, or if public disclosure would violate the confidentiality of the new business pursuant to Title 25. And 2, conferring on a matter pertaining to the economic development of the city of Perry involving the former Seth Wadley Ford dealership including the creation of a proposal to entice a business to locate to downtown Perry if public disclosure of the matters discussed would interfere with development of proposal, or if public disclosure would violate the confidentiality of the new business pursuant to Title 25.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Copy.
Yes.
Bledsoe.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Caledonia.
Yes.
Rock.
Yes.
O'Shea.
Yes.
Wortham.
Yes.
You're right,
Yeah.
we'd have to be vacant for a while, but
Motion to reconvene.
second.
Roll call.
And Coffee.
Yes.
Bledsoe.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Goldar.
Yes.
Rupp.
Yes.
O'Shea. Yes. Worthing.
Yes. Okay, let's get into item 16, new business, which we do have.
Yes. We received a request to extend the closing time for Project Duke by 30 days. Now, quite frankly, I don't think it's going to really extend the closing time. They're just trying to be careful. But the good part about it is that the contract provides that if they decide to extend the closing date by 30 days, they have to pay us $25,000. So $25,000 extra dollars will go into escrow, which would be nice because that'll help us tend to some of the other costs that you know that we've talked about in this transaction, and more than pay those. So because we just received this today, this does constitute, you should provide for that in your notes. This does constitute new business, and if it's actual new business, you can make a motion and approve.
Motion to approve.
And we got this from them,
Yes,
so the 25,000 was their idea.
it's in the contract. It's already in the contract.
Okay.
Cool. Let's do it.
Did you get a second?
Yes, he did. Did you get those, Christie?
Who's second? Both of us. Okay. Girls.
Sandy Marshall.
Okay, Coffee.
Yes.
Bledsoe.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Goldar.
Yes.
Rupp.
Yes.
O'Shea. Yes. Worthing.
Yes. All right, item 17, adjourn. Okay, let's call our meeting to order for the Perry Municipal Authority. Have roll call.
Coffee.
Here.
Bledsoe.
Here.
Marshall.
Here.
Davis. Here. Goldar.
Here.
Rupp.
Here.
Williams. O'Shea.
Here.
Worthing.
Here, we've got quorum. Item 1, consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Yes.
Just start doing everybody say yes.
Okay, Coffee. Yes. Bledsoe.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Goldar.
Yes.
Rupp.
Yes.
O'Shea.
Yes.
Worthing.
Yes. Item 5, consider amendments to Chapter 1, Section 9E, and Chapter 5, Section 5.8.23 of the City of Perry Municipal Authority Personnel Manual concerning gratuities.
Motion to approve.
Second.
That was everybody.
Meeny, miny, moe. And Coffee.
Yes.
Bledsoe.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Goldar.
Yes.
Rupp.
Yes.
O'Shea.
Yes.
Worthing.
Yes. Item 6, consider approval of airport hangar and other structured construction standards at the Perry Municipal Airport.
We don't have hangar standards in place. We need them so that we can enforce some of the issues going on out there. This is just an attempt to.
Yeah, there's a couple hangars that were, one destroyed completely, one destroyed, almost completely. We need to send them letters and tell them to build them, or we're gonna terminate their ground leases. But we need some standards, okay? So this is adopting standards. So it doesn't just apply to these two, it applies to anybody that puts up a hangar, and it just provides that they're wind-worthy and that they're built in accordance with the codes and the like, which is important. We just made a significant investment out there, and we need to keep our, and there are a number of hangars up there that are absolutely inferior, and so this just, raises the grade. If you want to come out here, you need to build something windworthy, and because when those winds come, that tin and sheeting can destroy aircraft. So
Does the FAA not already require that?
They don't have standards. We looked.
Wow.
So we had to make our own.
That's
we
surprising.
received these from Toby Baker. There very well may be another document that comes that may absorb these and have some additional rules for construction out there. But I wanted to get these in place so that we could send the letters out that we need to send out.
So do we have someone in place that would be able to inspect these to make sure that they are to these standards?
Yeah, Matt Biswell.
Matt,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, completely.
I didn't know if it took a different certification or.
Nope.
Nope, yeah.
And the new ones we're doing would meet these requirements?
Oh, yes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Yes.
Coffee. Bledsoe.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Davis. Yes. Goldar.
Yes.
Rupp.
Yes.
O'Shea.
Yes.
Wortham.
Yes,
It was your motion.
Drink really quick. I looked up, she's putting her water bottle down. Sorry.
So we're adjourned from there.
We're
Okay.
adjourned from that. Ready?
Yep.
All right, let's call a meeting to order for the Perry Facilities Authority and have roll call.
Coffee.
Here.
Bledsoe.
Here.
Marshall.
Here.
Davis. Here.
Here.
Goldar. Rupp.
Here.
Williams. O'Shea. Here. Wortham.
Here, item 1, consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
And Coffee.
Yes.
Bledsoe.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Davis. Yes. Goldar.
Yes.
Rupp.
Yes.
O'Shea. Yes. Wortham.
Yes. Are there any comments from those assembled? I will wait. No, we can stay here all night. All right, let's adjourn.
Thank you.